Just shoot it at the front.
It was the funniest thing. We could never.
Well, thank you very much. What's your name?
James Tony.
Nice to meet you, James.
Work for the
Buddy
state,
Roemer.
and I think you're gonna get money in for the state.
Well, I
Help
hope
the state
so.
employees.
Okay. Thanks, James. What do you do again, Dave?
I'm with Exxon Chemical plant here in Baton Rouge.
How's y'all's business?
We're good. Never did make chemical just really help us on the world side. No.
Environmental forum the other night.
I missed it.
I've heard figures as high as 3,000, but yeah, 2,000 to 3,000 people. I'd never been to a conservation meeting like that before. A lot of chemical workers who were worried about their jobs, and a lot of people worried about the air and water. It was really a good meeting. Had all the candidates there, and got most of the candidates to say the right things, I think, which is good. That we'll be fair, consistent, work together, clean up our air and water. I told them I was greedy. I wanted all the jobs and the best air and water in America. I said, now that's what I'm going to work toward. Let's sit down. Yeah. Well, you know, I told them I would start with the preconception that most of our corporate citizens wanted to be good citizens. Let's give them a chance. Oh, it was tough. I'll be glad when this is over.
Oh, I can imagine.
Thank y'all for coming.
Good luck to you.
Thanks,
Nice to meet
Dave.
you.
Thanks,
Nice to meet
Steve.
you.
Okay.
Asphodel, my name, Mr. Roemer.
Yes, sir. What do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a farmer.
What kind of farm?
Beef cattle and dogs.
And dogs.
Collie
Raise-
dog.
Oh, is that right?
But,
Well, I'm an old cotton farmer. Never raised
oh,
dogs.
I came up from your neck of the woods.
Oh, did you? Where you
I'm
from?
from native Sabine Parish.
Yeah, I represent Sabine Parish in the Congress now.
Yeah.
Manny and Zawali, and all points in between.
Mr. O.K. Allen is, but I'm a retired military
Are you? How long have you been back here?
in the early 50s. I spent a few months in the hospital as a result of that Korean thing. And I got retired. But I've been farming since then.
What kind of beef cattle do you raise?
Pump heifers.
Beautiful animals.
Yeah.
Without a horn.
And they're getting to be quite popular now because they're realizing the breeding program
Yeah.
for the other breeds will come.
My uncle, up until 4 years ago, managed the King Ranch. His name was Frank Crocker.
Oh, yeah.
San Gertrudis in Brazil and in Texas.
Yeah. When I was a freshman in school at LSU, Coach got me a job in Shreveport. I helped build the old Bowling City House.
His name lives at Catawba Plantation.
Oh, I see.
Charge when you're going up the road, stop and have a mint julep with us.
Well, I'm not into mint juleps, but I appreciate the hospitality.
Well, you need to stop anyway.
Thanks, Miss Thompson. I appreciate that. Well, I'm kind of a dyed coke fellow. Hey, James. Nice to see you. You got a good son-in-law.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'm telling you. I wish you luck.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. What do you do, James?
I'm retired right now.
Make it one. Watch out for that tropical storm down
You need a partner?
Huh?
You need a partner?
Yeah, you want to retire? no, we're gonna need you. No,
I don't know. Tired as I am now. Lake Providence, huh?
no problem.
That's a great place in the state. You live, where do you live? In Baton Rouge or St. Francis?
I live in St. Francis.
Well, I'm glad you came out to say hello to me. Have you met my wife out here?
No, so
Patty.
I'm Clifford Wilson.
Hey, Clifford.
I'm president of West Feliciana Parish Police
Are
Chief.
you? Well, my condolences. I mean, my congratulations.
And this is Christine.
Hey, Christine. How are you? How old are you, Christine? Oh, yeah, I was 13 once. For about 2 weeks.
Look, some of the folks served in the house with you before. When I was to bring him, but his wife was ill. He
Is
didn't
that
have-
right?
Yeah.
Be
He
sure
told me
to
to
tell
tell
him
you
hello. Okay.
he's sorry he missed you.
Okay, good. Thank you. How y'all doing?
Doing fine?
I got
Just
plenty of
broke.
money.
Just broke.
I thought I'd beat you to
When
it.
you get in the Capitol, I'm gonna be the first guy knocking on the door.
Well, let me tell you something. When I'm governor, the check's in the mail. It'll be a very small check.
Okay.
But we'll do it together. We'll be poor together.
That'd be great.
Thanks,
Nice to see you, buddy.
Christine. Nice meeting you. Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Tell the guys in Lake Providence hello. Okay, thanks.
Buddy, I'm Walker McVeigh. This
Hey,
is my
Walker.
wife, Kathy.
How you doing?
Hey, Kathy.
Good to see
Oh,
you.
hey, good sister.
How are you?
Yeah, just saw him a few minutes ago.
Feel like I should know you, man. As tight as Paul and I've been this year, he has really helped me,
Well,
Kathy.
good.
I mean, just
Just
out
saw
of
him
the
a
blue.
minute ago.
I had never met Paul Hager.
Really?
And I went to New Orleans, and I don't want to exaggerate, January, February, March, sometime in that frame. And I went by to say hello. I'd been given his name.
Oh, good.
And he signed on board. What a great guy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Said you can take it to the bank, what he said. I said, well, that's the man for me. I really wish you the best of luck.
Campbell has been harassing me for years, so you ought to know. The Minden flag.
Yeah.
Are you a dentist or doctor?
Yes,
Are you?
yes.
Wear gloves?
Well, most of the time.
Be careful, you ought to do it. I read the report. I got a report from the AIDS conference in Washington. I guess it's been a month, 2 months, 3 months ago now. They had a whole section on that. It just kind of struck me because I was about to go see my dentist.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's scary.
it is scary because you never know.
I'm Libby Dodd.
Yeah, Libby, Buddy Roemer. Nice seeing you.
I knew who
Thanks,
you were.
Kathy. Nice seeing
Newton
you.
Thomas is my cousin. And
Oh, is
he's
that
been
right?
singing
Oh,
my
he's been a
praises.
big
So
friend of mine, yeah.
I have great respect and affection.
What do you
for
do,
him.
Libby?
I live in St. Francis.
Do you? That's a full-time job, isn't it?
Just about.
Yeah,
I
this is a
find it-
beautiful part of the state, isn't it?
It's nice.
I had come here once before, but it was at night, early in the campaign. This is the first time I've ever
Well, you.
gotten around with my eyes open. You know?
Great day today.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Sometimes it doesn't look quite this good.
I
but this-
understand.
Everything looks good today.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, thanks for coming by, Libby.
really wanted
And
to
I hope you
see
can look me over.
Oh, I'm looking.
Little fella, big heart. Okay?
I don't know. There's 2 Harvard degrees are awfully hard.
Yeah, I know. If you can
Very
get around that, you can.
Oh, no, I think that's impressive. You see, that's a provincial in me.
Okay,
Buddy,
thanks.
this is Susan
I'm Susan
Wallace.
Wallace.
Hi,
Nice to
Susan.
meet
Buddy
you.
Roemer. What do you do, Susan?
Well, I'm the organist at Grace Church in St. Francis. And the secretary at St. Luke's in Baton Rouge.
I see. You're about churched out, haven't
I'm telling you, that's right.
you? Okay. Are you from here?
Baton Rouge.
Are you?
But I
My
can
wife. Patty.
into that organ.
Yeah, I bet she does. My wife, Patty, behind you, is from Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I think I remember she went to Broadway.
All right, she
I
went
did
to
too,
Broadway.
one
Is that
year.
right?
Yeah.
Let's go be sure and say hello.
Yeah,
to
I
her.
sure did.
Okay.
I didn't know her then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Susan. Thanks
luck
for
to
coming.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
My little granddaughter was telling me how many wonderful volunteers you have in Baton Rouge.
It's incredible. I don't want to exaggerate, but maybe 400. 400. Nice to meet you, Marie. How are you doing?
I'm Barry Bennett from Clanton.
Hi, Mary.
I met you at Barry Eaton's.
Oh, is that right? Boy, she had a big crowd.
Yeah,
didn't
she had a big crowd.
And I'm
Yeah.
sorry I don't remember you personally, but there
Yeah.
were so many people.
Well-
Were there like 200 people there?
Oh, at least.
I mean, it was
At least, yeah.
it was wall to wall.
Yeah.
Mary's.
We've had a lot of supporters up there. We have more than 24.
Me too.
Yeah.
Keep looking me over. Thanks, Mary. Okay. Hey, Brent. Have we met before?
No, we haven't. I managed to remind Hotel.
Oh, do you?
I'm also president of the Hotel Association. So I'm real interested in what you got to say about tourism.
All right. Remember John Kennedy once said, a rising tide lifts all boats. It's time to get the water up in it.
Let's all get together and roll this back.
Well, I think we can. I mean, I watch other states take less and do more with it, which leads me to the Little Rock, Arkansas spends more money on tourist promotion than the entire state of Louisiana.
Have you had an opportunity to look at this open house 1990?
No.
I think that's going to be a good promotion.
No, I'm not.
That should involve the whole state.
Somebody
Really
sent me some information some months back, but I have not taken time to look at it. I have to do that. I don't know what I've been doing the last couple of months.
Yeah, right.
I'll go back to reading as soon as it's over. I'll learn
I
something.
don't. Well, good luck to you. I want to
Thank
say
you
hi.
very much, Brent.
Good to
I
meet you.
appreciate you coming by. Hi. Yeah, Dave. Hi, Mr. Miller. Buddy Roemer. Nice to see you. What do you do?
I'm a member of his church. I'm in the insurance business in Baton Rouge.
A simple answer. That's what you're looking for, Robert.
Who could be more average than us, right?
When somebody comes over to you and says, what do you think of state politics, what would you say? In general, Louisiana state politics. Totally corrupt.
They need to be cleaned up.
I wouldn't say totally corrupt. I'd say fairly corrupt.
We do live in a banana republic. It's run by one person. He controls almost all aspects of government, and it's got to change.
But hasn't it always been sort of similar to the way it is today?
Yes. But the person that we have in there today
Has dominated it more.
is probably more interested in his own personal gains than that of the state.
Well, why does he keep getting elected then?
Ignorance. Just the people just don't know. They're not informed. They need to be educated. That's our primary goal right now, is we need to educate the people. We need to clean up the state, and we need to capitalize on the resources that we have here. It's great to have new business come in, but we've got an abundance here that we're just not putting to good use.
Some people think that Louisianians tolerate a higher degree of shenanigans in politics. Is that true? If so,
I
why?
don't think so. Go to Chicago. Chicago used to be worse, probably still is in some respects. I think we've always been more open about it. You know, we tolerate people like Gary Hart wouldn't have had any problem with it. Well, he would have because he denied it. You know, the way down here, so yeah, I did it. That's my style, that's what I do. Or I hadn't hurt you. But I think what happened in Louisiana, the oil money after the boom went away, and then it became apparent how mismanaged things were on top of the corruption. I don't think people mind the pork barrel, the favors, you know, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, as long as the money was there. But we don't have the money to play that way anymore. I don't think so. I think then it'd be different because people will have, there's so many new people in Louisiana, and I think once people perceive that state government can do an efficient job without the old way of doing things, that they'll then expect it and demand it. Education is a good example.
I think once the people are educated, that's going to make a big turnaround. And I don't mean just the older people. We have to start from a young age and work up. And, you know, we already educate our children. When we vote, we bring them in the voting booths with us, and they need to understand that their right to vote is very important. And they need to understand all the issues that are at hand. I mean, I'm not going to say they start at age 5, but they are influenced even at that age. They love to see Election Day come around. They go in the polls and they get to vote, and we let them pull the levers, and that's important to them.
So you don't think that most people take politics seriously here?
That's hard to say. It depends on who you talk to and at what given time. Right now,
I think people are beginning to take politics more seriously now.
Yeah.
Because I think they're getting to realize that it affects them more.
I think it used to be more of a spectator sport, like football. I mean, you know, it was great. We had a good time and still do. Colorful people.
Well, like you said, we had money there all the time, too. Now the money's going and everybody's going to this panic.
If we can elect somebody who'll change the system, I'll give you a classic example, the Wildlife and Fisheries Department. The head of the Wildlife and Fisheries Department is appointed by the governor. The entire Wildlife and Fisheries Commission is appointed by the governor. Therefore, the entire Wildlife and Fisheries Department is controlled by the governor. Okay? That part of our system has to be changed. Qualified civil service people who meet certain qualifications should be the only people who are appointed to those positions.
Who are the people there who are there now then?
The people who are there now are the cronies of the present administration.
When you say that politics is kind of a spectator sport, what did you mean by that?
I meant that in the past, and I think I've only moved back to Louisiana since '79. I grew up here until about age 14, but people are always interested in politics. They like the parties such as this. They like the bands. But I don't think anybody ever seriously thought, no matter who got elected, anything significant was going to change. If you knew the police juror, which is like the county supervisor elsewhere, then you got your gravel in your driveway. And you got your things fixed, and that's the way it still worked. And I think now people are beginning to realize that the politics is fun and interesting, but it has a great impact on their lives. And I
Some
think
things are
that
more important than the driveways and education and so on.
Can't do it that way anymore.
But when you left and then you came back, did you notice that the politics and culture kind of mix a little bit differently in other places than they do in Louisiana? Not so much the corruption, but just sort of the way people view politics and get interested in politics.
No, not really. I didn't move too far. I just went over to Biloxi, Mississippi, so it wasn't a big geographical change. Frankly, the candidates over there were never nearly as interesting as the ones here. And the money wasn't there. You always had the big oil money here. We had a lot of things, you know, the state had tremendous opportunity that in hindsight we squandered. Perhaps like you have personally, or I have personally, or your friends have personally, when they had a little bit of a windfall, and it seemed like it not only was one time, but going to just continue, you get a little lax. And maybe in another state, people wouldn't have gotten quite as lax as we did, but that's how we played it. We just lost a lot of money and threw it away on things that didn't matter really and didn't do any long-term good for the state.
4 years ago.
4 years ago, I voted for Dave Train.
Dave Train.
This is
I
embarrassing.
have never voted for Edwin Edwards, and I will never vote for him.
Who did you vote for?
I don't know. It wasn't Edwards, but I don't think I voted for clean Dave Train either. I'm not sure. I may have voted for none of the above.
It seems in Louisiana periodically they go to these binges for reform. And it goes on for quite a while. They voted for Treen. Then after 4 years, Edwards came back in. Why do you think they would?
Well, because Train didn't accomplish anything. He's a wonderful person. He's a nice man, but he didn't accomplish the goals that were set out. And I also feel that in 4 years you can't go in and change a system in 4 years. You know, it probably takes 8, maybe 12 years for a man to go in and turn the system around. Okay, you know, that's why usually when a governor gets in, he cleans house, he gets rid of everybody, and then starts appointing his people. Well, then those people have to, in turn, start learning the system all over again. But, you know, we need a change, definitely.
So there's a wonderful book by John McInnes that I'm sure y'all are familiar with, and if you see how, and to this extent, I'm a Louisianan, you got to give Edwards his due. The man is articulate. He is smart, he is a hard worker, he knows what he's doing, and he knows how to run government, at least in Louisiana. And he pretty much fixed it up where Treen couldn't do anything had he wanted to. So
It's true, his hands were tied. When he got in, he had bills that Edwards had delayed, so that when it was time for his administration to take over, all of these things came up, like for the teachers, wasn't that paper?
Why not?
Talk with your hands. Are you Italian?
All sorts of crazy politics.
The reformers that came along were not capable of playing practical politics as well. They were not capable of dealing with the legislature. And that was the biggest weak point in Dave Train's administration. He was not able to deal with the legislature. He wanted to do everything himself. He did not delegate. He did not surround himself with competent people, and he tried to do everything himself, and that's why he failed. He also was governor during a period where the economy was starting to go down oil-wise in Louisiana, and Edwards took advantage of that when he ran against him.
Who's going to win this election?
I think Roemer's going to win.
I hope
really
Roemer
do.
wins. I really think he's what we need to come in and clean up the state and to get us back on the right track.
Why aren't you guys going with somebody like Livingston in the election?
Bob Livingston isn't strong enough. We need somebody that's a lot stronger than that to lead the state out of the depression we're in right now. He's a wonderful man. He's politically, he's just not aware of the issues that need to be taken into consideration.
We need a good salesman for Louisiana. As Tom said earlier, someone who's articulate. Somebody knows the difference between right and wrong. And I feel that way about Buddy Roemer.
He's a proven leader.
So you don't think think 4 years from now, let's say they get rid of Edwards and you get a reformer in, and things get better again, that we'll just get another long?
I really don't think so. I think this state has been building up to this, and you've seen the change in the legislative body as well.
People are moving out. Businesses are closing. I think people are getting scared now. They realize that we can't depend on oil anymore, and we've got to go somewhere else for it. And if they can't come up with the ideas of where it's going to come from,
We'd like to invite each of you to join this Roemer Revolution. Just by being here, I know that you have a place in your heart for Louisiana. I'd like to introduce a man that has promised to put it where it belongs in this state. I'd like to introduce the next governor of the state of Louisiana, Mr. Buddy Roemer.
Thank you. Now should I say my fellow Americans? I want to thank you for the kind introduction and thank you and your family for letting us come. It's very nice. It's my first trip. It won't be my last, but Patty and I have gained so much in this campaign from meeting new people with new ideas in new places. Actually, I feel better about Louisiana now than I did 12 months ago. And I know that's an unusual thing to say. I was born here. I'm now 44, spent almost all of my life here, some time off at school, some time off in Congress the last 7 years, but basically, I'm from Louisiana, and I thought I knew the state and liked the state. But I find after 12 months in the field, you know, I used to be about 6'3", about 220. But at 12 months in the field, I think I know our state better. I like it more. I think we have more to offer than I even knew we did. If states like Tennessee and South Carolina and Massachusetts can win, Louisiana ought to be hitting home runs. That's the way I look at it. So as I come to the end of the campaign, tired, skinny, broke, finally out of 5th place in 2nd, I don't even know how to act. I feel good. I feel good about Louisiana. I feel good about our chances. In a tough world, it's not an easy world. It's gotten smaller and more competitive, and in many ways more exciting. And we have a choice. We can hide, or we can fight. We can hide behind our natural resources. We can sit on porches like this and wait for the price of oil to go up. We can hide and let our children go somewhere else to work. We can hide and let the best and the brightest in our state find a job somewhere else. Or we can fight. We can take the good things about Louisiana, its people, its weather, its resources, its location, its water. We can take the good things about our state and together let our children stay here. Together, I think we can make the world take another look at Louisiana. That's what I'd like to do, and that's why I'm running for governor. I don't have all the answers. None of the answers are easy. The good answers never are. So I don't come dancing through town as Mr. Perfect or having things in magic in my head. But I am committed, and I want you to know that. My politics can be summed up quickly. I'm a different politician. I don't like Louisiana politics. Too much money, too much corruption, too much double talk. We're better than our politics, folks. That's why I need you to get involved. I don't know how many of you read the Baton Rouge Morning Advocate this morning about all these politicians and the political endorsements they had got. I don't do that. I'm a different kind of politician. I sometimes make people angry. I don't know if people like me. I like them. And there come some times in your life when you have to tell it like it is. We need to make some changes. The thing that's wrong with Louisiana politics is money. Remember what they said at Watergate, follow the money? Somebody ought to follow the money in Louisiana politics. Don't you think so? Most people in America will never come to Louisiana. Most people in America will know us only by our reputation. Most people in America think the governor's office in this state is for sale. I tell you who I want as governor. A free man. Is that too much to ask? A man who's not owned by the special interests or the fat cats who gave him big checks in a back room. We're the only guy running with a chance to be elected governor in the history of our state, taking no big checks, no PAC money, no cash money, and we've not borrowed one penny. We've reported every nickel in and every nickel out. I want a governor who's free to do the right thing. That's what you'll get. You'll get a governor who'll spend time in the classroom. I think we have to educate our children, and I won't make a big deal about it. It'd be impossible not to. You want jobs for your children? You better educate them. The jobs in the 21st century won't be muscle jobs. They'll be mind jobs. Louisiana better touch its minds. I want to put the best teacher in every classroom. We'll evaluate our school teachers. Find out who can teach and pay them. Find out who can't teach them how. I'll have my picture made in a classroom after the election. I've never seen a governor do that. I'll make education decisions as if there were 8 second graders in the room with me. We're going to educate our children. I'll be known some years hence when I come back, not as the guy who was the best politician or a good tap dancer or a guy who could tell funny stories. I can't. But as a guy who put the children first, ahead of his politics and ahead of re-election and ahead of all the things that you know about Louisiana. Now, I'm going to play this election different. I've played it different from the first day. I told my volunteer team, and they've grown in numbers. They're good people. I told them that we'd come on late. We've raised $2 million, folks, the hard way. Guy asked me if I ever take a poll. I take a poll every day. I open the mail at my office in Baton Rouge. Opened the mail last Friday, a week ago. We got checks of $96,000 in the mail. $25, $50, $100, $150, $250. People want to change in this state, I'm telling you. I think we're going to win this race. I think it'll be the biggest upset in the history of Louisiana politics. We started at 3% in January, 3. In the last poll last week, we were at 17, headed to 30 in this primary. Now I need your help. I need a bumper sticker on your car. I need a yard sign in your yard. I need those of you who've never contributed to a Louisiana politician to do it now. You can't be a spectator this time. Get involved. If it's not with me, pick one of the other guys. There's some good people running. Pick the best man. Let's go. Let's ride this thing to change. I call it the Roemer Revolution. For a long time, Milton Womack and I were the only person that liked the Roemer Revolution. And I don't want to scare anybody about it. Frankly, it's only a revolution in this state. The rest of America's already done it. They've already cleaned up their politics, put their children first in education, put a business plan together for jobs, and they quit dividing their state. You know, Louisiana's divided into 3 parts: North Louisiana, South Louisiana, and New Orleans. I'll make you one commitment, and I'll shut up. You give me a chance to be your governor, and I'll pull this state together. I won't play North versus South, white versus black, Democrat versus Republican. Who cares? I'll put Louisiana first, and I'll go anywhere in America with you. And we'll make them stop laughing and start listening. Thanks, everybody. These guys are with Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and they're going to do a show, I think. Wife, Patty, come on, honey. Patty's from Baton Rouge, and has tried to expand my vision of the state the last 14 years. You've done a good job, honey. I love you for it. Thanks, everybody. Good.
State came by and asked you what you thought of Louisiana State politics. Yeah. First thing that come to your mind.
Well, really horrified a little bit. You know, not good.
Circus. High entertainment.
Too expensive, ridiculous. What do I mean?
I think they're all technicians myself.
Everyone's out for what they can get out of it, not what's good for the rest of the people.
Has that been any different in the past?
No, I'm saying it's been like that for a long time, and we need a change. We desperately need someone to change it.
Is there any reason to think that if it's been that way as far back as you can think that it's going to change?
40 years, and it's been bad for 40 years, and I think what we've had is too many people who just vested interest in every election, not the whole state, not the whole citizens.
Why do people vote for him? Why do people vote for everyone else?
Well, Baton Rouge has never voted for him, so I don't know why people. We really don't know why people vote for him. So you better cut that. Excuse me. I don't know why they vote for him. Do you?
I think it's because they think he's the best show in town.
Because he's glib, powerful.
Never had.
We vote for Edwin Edwards. I never have, so you're not asking the right person. Never. But I didn't vote for
Everybody tells us they never voted for him.
Well, you can believe it. I'm a registered Republican, and I voted for Goldwater. You know, so I could. As conservative as I'm suspicious of anything that flamboyant.
Well, if you're a registered Republican, why aren't you voting for Livingston?
Because I feel desperately we need to get Edwards out, and if I vote for Livingston, I'll not help get Edwards out of there.
How do you mean?
I mean that a vote for Livingston will keep one of the other candidates from getting in the second primary. I need to vote for a Democrat.
So you're saying Livingston can't beat Edwards?
No.
And you're a Republican?
I had been when there were only 82 on the polls in Baton Rouge. In 1947, there were 82, and they couldn't find the book for me to register. But I really feel if I don't vote Democrat this time, it'll be a vote for Edwards. Am I thinking wrong?
I don't know. Could be. Hard to say.
I've been wrong before. Don't you think that way, Trent? For the first primary? Second primary may be different, but the first one I think is important.
In terms of this election, if you gave me one word or one phrase to describe Edwin Edwards, what would you say?
Can't be printed, can it? I think he's way overdue to be retired.
I think he's kept a surprisingly low profile this time around. I've been trying to figure that out. He's obviously challenged and is in danger of losing it, but you don't see much of him. And it doesn't look like he's spending that much money from the media.
He hasn't run a real serious campaign, I don't think, or he wouldn't be doling out that slush fund to everything. I seem like he would at least smooth over education teachers for a while for the vote. I don't understand why he would be so. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
He spent that slush fund just willy-nilly on his cronies, you know. So I don't think he's been very serious. Either that or he thinks he has it made anyhow.
Thank you.
Well,
you were saying, there's one more question. You were saying that you thought that the reason that people voted for Edwin Edwards is he was the best show in town. Do you think that that's still true?
Well, Louisiana has always liked someone flamboyant. They always have. And you know, I think it's time they grow up and realize there's a price to pay for something like that.
Why do you think it's been like that? I mean, it's been like that obviously for a really long time.
As long as I've been here, since 1947. I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm not native, so you better ask a native. Because it always shocks people who are not from here by the style of politics that we have, you know. So I just can't believe it. I haven't been able to believe it for 40 years, so why such a change? But Edwards, I don't think is serious. I think he'll pull out the second. If he doesn't make a big showing, we maybe have gotten rid of him.
I kind of think people lose their sense of humor in hard times, and that's why it might change this time around.
I think somebody like Buddy Roemer, who's so clearly running as a reformer, is going to need to somehow become more flamboyant to keep the office?
No, I don't think so. I think people are a little tired of that, don't you? Don't you?
Oh, I hope so, but I'm not sure. I'm a little more cynical than that, but I think at the moment they are. And if the moment lasts for the next couple of months, we'll see.
I mean, I look at Dave Train 4 years ago.
Don't forget your sign, Dave. Oh yeah, look, I can have that one hung from the roof. Yeah, from your house. Oh, these big ones that don't
campaign to a totally different way. I mean, how come? Why is it going to work?
Well, for a couple of reasons it's different. First of all, I'm comfortable with my way. Second of all, I decided to try my way, which is the only way I'd run for governor, when I had a chance to win. With our economy being hurt, with our current populist government, our governor doing such a lousy job, in my opinion, I thought the stage was set for people to look in a new direction. So it's a question of what I prefer. It's a question of what the times called for. And I put them together and did it this way. No big checks, no loans, no flamboyant campaigns, spend your money late, buy no endorsements, talk about bringing the state together. It's new.
Why are Louisiana politics, why haven't the past they been so different?
I can't answer that. It's a question of accident, time, place. Frankly, this state has lived off its natural resources for as long as I've been alive. And when it comes easy like that, you don't have to really work to diversify. education's not that important. Being part of the 21st century or being competitive is not that important. Louisiana's a great state. I mean, I love to live here. Great outdoors, hunting, fishing. And when you added the natural resources of that, why should we have the pain and agony of Pittsburgh or New York or Boston? And so for a long time, our politics reflected that kind of laissez-faire, let's live off our natural resources. But these are different times. And I believe that most families in Louisiana are looking at it differently now. For example, the men and women who fish and trap and hunt and harvest seafood off our coastline and in our estuaries along the southern end of the state, they're looking different this time. They see the threat of pollution, of air and water quality going down, of industrialization, of canals. So for the first time, they are concerned about the environment. I mean, I could go all over this state and pick groups who in the past said, it's Louisiana politics, I don't really care. This year they're saying, I care. I'm going to make a change. Let's do it differently.
Are there any vestiges of the old long populism that are still here or have been here?
Yes, there are vestiges of it, but it's mutated and taken a diminished form. It's not the overwhelmingly powerful political move that it once was. I can't put numbers to it. I'm incapable of that. It's here, but a much smaller version of what it used to be.
Have the people changed? Are they still more tolerant of certain things than other parts of the country?
Well, we're different. Every part of the country is different. I used to live in Boston, and they talked for hours about how different they were. So we're different, too. And I like most of our differences. And we have been in the past tolerant of being entertained by our governors rather than being led by them. No question of that. But times are changing, and maybe I'm ahead of my time or behind it. I don't know. This election will answer that question. I can't. But I think that times have changed, and Louisiana is changing with it.
Edwin Edwards in terms of political politics in a state, has been extraordinarily popular and successful. Why?
He's the most gifted politician I've ever been around. He is capable of strong leadership.
Excuse me, can I get to say Edwin Edwards?
Yes, okay. Edwin Edwards is the most gifted, natural politician I've ever been around. And I put politics down a little bit when I say that. I don't mean gifted in terms of planning or performance or veracity. I mean gifted in terms of touching and molding and exciting, gifted in terms of moments of leadership. He's a very intelligent man. I mean, anybody who underestimates the governor of this state, Edwin Edwards, is doing themselves a disservice. This administration has not been successful for him, but he is very gifted politically. And you're right. Perhaps there have been other more powerful politicians in our past. I don't know. I didn't live in our past. But in our present, he's the most powerful in my lifetime.
Why do you think, with all the polls and everything making him so unpopular, why is he running this time?
I can't answer that. I see no reason for it. Either for personal aggrandizement, I see no reason for it. To benefit this state, I heard no new plans. I don't understand it. It's almost as if he doesn't think anybody can replace him. It's almost personal to see these young whippersnappers talk about new dreams and new approaches and a new beginning. I don't know. He'll have to answer that. I can't.
Do you guys ever talk before debates or anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed talking with him. And we jab each other and kid. I mean, there's a part of the governor you like. I mean, there really is. He can be a very likable fellow. But in terms of performance in office, and this is a job in that sense, in terms of leadership, in terms of reputation, in terms of educating our children, we're going to replace him this year.
State political history, there have been cycles in which you've had a flamboyant populist leader, Earl, Huey, or Edwin, if you wanted to characterize them that way. You get a reform person, they last 4 years, and then they're gone.
Yeah, and it's not worked well in Louisiana, this let's rent a reformer kind of operation. I mean, I'm hoping that if I or somebody like me is governor this time, that we can really work together. I said in one of our statewide debates a couple of weeks ago, when someone asked me, what do I wish to happen in the last 20 days of the campaign? I said, I wish that all the candidates would agree that whoever is the next governor, the rest of us will work with that person to pull this state forward. I see a need for reform. Short term, no. Rent a reformer, no. I think it ought to be permanent, and I'm hoping to be part of that reform. I'm hoping to be governor. If I'm not, I'll work with whoever is to do the kinds of things we need to do. And let me say, it starts with campaign financing. That's the first step. That's the thing that's wrong with our state politics. Money.
Okay. What is it about money?
Money gets politicians' attention. If you are what you eat, in politics you are where you get your money. This state is run by special interests. Industries that take our natural resources, yield a few jobs, but a low quality of air and water. You think that's a special interest? I do. People who have contracts with the state or property in the state or whatever. This state is an amalgamation, a collection of special interests. And special interests evidence their political support by giving big checks to little politicians. And the most startlingly new thing about our campaign are the limits we've put on individual contributions. The fact that we've borrowed no money, I'll be the only governor in America elected without any PAC money. I want a free man as governor. If you want to make the most radical, long-term, revolutionary changes in our state, you clean up political campaign financing. That's what we've tried to do while we're running. They laughed at us for a year, said I couldn't raise the money. I think we've raised more money under the tough rules than I would have done under the looser rules. Interesting. Can I go home, guys?
Let me just ask you one question.
All right.
Okay. Let's say you get elected. You're in there for 4 years, and maybe because of some things you do and then some things beyond your power, like price of oil goes back, the state is a little more flush.
Yeah.
You're going to be 4 years from now, want to run for re-election. Do you think you might have to become more flamboyant than you are to play that political game that Louisianans love so much?
I don't become what I need to become. And that's what you should know about me. I am what I am. What you see is what you get. I'm hard-headed. I'm independent. I tend to be low-key except when I stand up. But I'm not flamboyant. And I will not change as governor. If I do, they ought to throw me out of office. If I serve as governor 4 years and decide to run for re-election and reappear as a different person, you ought to get rid of me. Nah, won't be a problem. I mean, I don't even think about 8 years, to be honest about it. And I think the major work that we need to do in this state can be done in 4. Now, I'd like to see us go beyond that, even if I'm not governor, to continue that. We need to put these roots in the ground for reform, and it takes longer than 4 years. But my work, look, my toughest work begins in November of this year and goes through March before I ever take office. After that, it'd be a piece of cake. We got one way to go in Louisiana. You know which way that is? Up. Thank y'all.